I pull the arrow out, and then my hair stands right up on the back of my neck. Oh, we got a fish. We got a fish. Hey guys, it's Timber. I'm here to do a quick recap on episode 7. I'm doing my recap this morning on my boat with my good buddy Adam. I just haven't had time this week to do any recapping and filming. It's hard to get time, and I know a lot of you guys have put comments and questions in all the comment section, and I'm going to try to get to those. It's just time is hard to come by. So this morning I'm doing my recap while we're fishing for stripers. My buddy Adam back here, let me tell you about him for a second. A lot of people have $10,000, $15,000 in their striper fishing trolling rig. I think Adam has $11 in his rig. Adam, how many dollars do you have in your downrigger rig?
It's probably not 11.
It's not even $11. Okay, we're using some homemade gear here, and Adam should do an update video for you guys about that, about his rig, because he catches stripers. Okay, well, let's see what we got right here. Like I was saying, Adam catches stripers. We just got this a second ago. What's that, like an 8 or 9 pounder?
Probably.
I hold it back there by my buddy Adam. That's a big old fish, and that is fun. Okay, so Adam knows how to catch the stripers. Another thing about Adam is I've had like 3 friends in my life that were like the definition of a friend. I shouldn't be saying this right in front of him. Just Adam's one of them. I run around overseas and do stuff, and Adam has held down the fort for me and done things that you wouldn't even imagine. You know, Adam's a friend. So anyways, I always start off my episodes these days with some word about nature. And this morning's word is this: the wilderness is God's handiwork. It's his second best invention. I'm convinced that God just loves it. He loves what he made. Like looking down at the Arctic where I am on alone right now, or at this lake where I'm at right now, and seeing all these fish. I mean, seeing everything that he made just do its thing. If it makes me this happy, I can just imagine how happy it makes God, who set this up and breathed life into everything. And that is why on alone right now, every time I pull a pike out of the water, like a human eye has never seen that pike before, but God enjoys looking at that creature that he made. I hold it up to the sky and thank God for it first. The wilderness is God's handiwork. Okay, so this episode begins on Isaiah, and as we know from last week, Isaiah's been having some trouble with his heart and his breathing, and I really don't have the answer for that. Look, I'm not going to go through blow by blow in the episode. I'm going to try to focus on things that I think other people are not talking about. I'm going to try to hit a couple key things and mention it. And here's what I'm going to say about Isaiah, is that Isaiah says as he leaves that, in a way, he won his prize. And I've heard some people scoff at that, and I want to mention this. Every contestant that is on Alone, everybody that spends that much time, a month, out in creation like that, does go home with something intangible, but of incalculable value. So I understand what Isaiah is saying. You know, Isaiah is definitely, he's not blowing smoke. He's going home with something real, some perspective, oh, the fish are over here, man.
I got them on the right, too.
Oh, good. Good. We're going to hook up with a fish while we're doing this. This is going to be awesome. If I just throw the phone in the floor, it's because we're reeling in a fish. Oh, and you need to do a video on your channel about how you rig up, because that would be very awesome. Okay, so moving on to Sarah. Sarah, what I picked out from Sarah is, you know that Sarah had a scene where she misses a grouse, then she comes back up and her camera wasn't running, and she has 2 grouse. And I want to go back, because I think this is dipping back into the other episode, but I want to say something. That happens so much to where something goes wrong with the cameras and something amazing happens. Something of your life out there that you're putting effort into, and you're working so hard to film it all, and you want to capture it so that it's there, so that it can be seen by y'all. And then you find out that it didn't capture it. Something was wrong with the camera, or you hit the button twice somehow. That double tap thing was really common. You'd like hit it and you'd hit record and then unrecord in rapid succession without knowing it, and then you'd sit there and for hours maybe hunt, but right now I'm scraping a moose hide and double tapped and didn't get any of it. You know, all this awesome hide preparation. So I think that's the That's tough. You know, Sarah had that awesome grouse hunt that happened on. And then also, I want to point out in this episode how Sarah, you know, last time you might have thought that she was at a low point, you know, and she was having some tears and some things come up for her. But you can tell that Sarah is a mature and tough person because she has just gone right on to the next thing. That's what tough people do, is they have those moments, but then they just carry straight on to the next task, and those moments take their place in the memory. And Sarah's doing that. So we go on to William in this episode, and a couple things I pick out about William is William's got his pine marten, Sassy, all up in his business, climbing on his food cache, trying to rip that gator off with those fish in there, and that thing is savage. Those pine marten, they will just growl right at your face. You can be 5 feet from them, and they're tiny, and they'll just, and they can just, you can see in their eyes, I can take this human. And I admire that in a creature. It's awesome. They're savage. Yeah, that animal will be back, because what William's got going on is that they've got a taste of food there, and they're going to be hard to keep off. They're going to be very diligent. They're going to know the food is there, and they're going to try to rip into anything, and that's a tough spot to be in, just a tough spot. But William says something interesting that I think maybe a lot of people won't catch, is he says he's going about this as if he was in a plane crash, and he has to do what he has to do. And I think that's really smart. What he's meaning is he's approaching it as if he doesn't have an option about doing what he's doing. He is, oh, we got a fish. We got a fish. Is it a big one? All right. Just one line or more? One.
Somehow it got around the head.
Here, I'll get the net. Yeah, I'll get it out of your way. It looks like a good one. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's just like that other one.
Yeah.
That's an awesome one.
Yeah.
All right, you got him?
Yep.
All right, I got your pole.
Striper number 2.
See, my buddy knows how to get on the stripers with his $11 setup, or $7 or whatever that is. All right, when fish are on, that takes priority. This is important. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. Ever since the Arctic, I have this compulsion. I see a squirrel going through a park, and I can't think about anything else. I just want to hit that squirrel with an arrow and get it, you know. And my wife's like, calm down. She notices it, and she's like, calm down, it's okay. And I have that same compulsion right now with fish going on around us, because we need these fish. And look at this. Those are 2 pretty awesome fish. Anyways, I think William is really smart for going about it in that mentality. I think we're going to probably see that help him. Fish are flopping everywhere. I think that mentality, we've got trash over here on the...
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Is really going to help William like crazy. And it's interesting. I didn't think about going about it in that way, but I think that his mental space, no matter what hardships he goes through with animals getting into his food and stuff, his mental toughness and just fortitude, and he's relaxed about it all, is going to pay off dividends probably. You know, it's amazing how he's approaching it that way. So anyways, I just want to pick out that thing about his mentality. Now Dub, there's too much. I mean, this was Dub's episode for sure. Dub had probably the most screen time in this episode, and he needed it. He had amazing footage. He had the wolves. Everybody's talking about that, so I'll skip right over it. There's too much to pick out. Here's what I want to say about Dub. Dub is what I want to be when I grow up. I mean, Dub, when I see Dub and how he's approaching it on screen, there's 2 things that I wish I was doing that Dub is doing. I wish that I made such a shelter like he did with a lot less energy consumption, even though my shelter looks really cool right now. And I also wish that I could just have Dub's easygoing, good-humored way. Dub is, like, I aspire to just be whatever Dub's got going on. You got a fish there? Dub's moose hunt. So I believe that Dub is a consummate hunter. So I'm eager to see if that moose stays in his territory. The way Dub goes about it, quiets his voice down, just gets right into action. He takes his cameras. You can tell that Dub's going to prioritize filming. Dub's not going to do anything and not get good footage of it. That's one thing you can rely on about Dub. And I think he's my most enjoyable character to watch do stuff. You know, he's fun and enjoyable. He's what I'd like to see myself as, really. I don't necessarily like seeing myself as just like the crazy wild man. I'd rather be more even-keeled like Dub, but it is what it is. And that brings us to me in this episode. I have a couple interesting scenes, and I'll tell you one thing. There's a lot more I did out there besides peeing on a stick, you know, but it kept the bears away. We'll say it did. A few things I want to mention about my part in this is, firstly, the bear footage. I want to tell you exactly how I get this footage of the bear. We've got game cameras, trail cameras. I think 2 of them are included in our camera gear, and it's part of camera training you go through. You just know right away if you kill something, if there's a high chance of predators, you'll get some cool footage. And if you get predators on camera, you know that's going to make it on the show, so you really want to get that. So right away, you know, first thought you have is when you have a gut pile there, you get a game camera on it. So I put the game camera up there, but here's the deal. I don't know what's on the game camera until I see it on TV, because I have no way to review that footage. So that was exciting to me to see my bear. Now, I arrive on the scene and the tracks tell me plenty. I can tell that there was a grizzly there. You know, I'm following the grizzly tracks. I can tell what he did to the moose. So I'm reading the scene there. But it was just amazing to me to see that beautiful footage, the sun coming up behind there, the frost, and that bear right there. Oh, fish dead ahead.
Yeah, I know.
You can see the fish jumping when they're on the bait out here. So I loved that. I did not get to review that. There was no way to review that because you open up those game cameras. Yeah, right up here, man.
Yep.
We're gonna hit one. You open up those game cameras and there's just a few little buttons to operate, to push go, and there's no screen to review it on. And if you take the SD card out, which I tried, and put in another camera, it won't review it because it's a different file type. So I didn't get to see that. You know, and I really think that bear was not coming out in daylight because I was peeing on everything and lighting fires over there by the moose and all that. That's my theory. I'm gonna stick with it. The next thing is the bones that you see there on the ground, those 3 leg bones that I left behind. I would like to have not left those leg bones behind. You know, in a good situation, you'd take those and you'd use those. You get the marrow out of them and everything out of those bones, boil the joints and everything. And so those 3 leg bones on the ground, when I film them, they're good and spoiled. They really smell. And the reason is because I had to work so hard to preserve all that moose meat that I couldn't get to the entire parts of the carcass like I'd have liked to. I'd have liked to eat the brain, and I didn't eat the brain either because it's spoiled. But that's pretty good if that's all I lost is 3 little leg sections and a brain, wouldn't you say?
I don't know if you're even a survivalist if you didn't eat the brain.
So the reason I go over to this bear territory is to get my arrow back. So on the scene, it opens with me heading over into there, and I'm talking about following the bear tracks. Now, I'm not just eager to get mauled by a bear, but I woke up that morning with the conviction that I would find an arrow that I shot and missed the moose with on day 5, and I just felt like I would, and I did. That's cool. So I head over there, see the bear, that the bear has taken the moose. Know that it's probably got footage on my game camera, but I see the tracks and I proceed through that area. I get over there to where I shot at the moose. It's well beyond this place where I shot at the moose on day 5. And I get over there and I'm kicking around and I realize there's not a chance, not one chance that I'll find this arrow because it's a sea of that horsetail grass. And I'm after the arrow that ricocheted, the second shot. I don't even know where it ricocheted to, and I'm standing there and I look up to heaven and I was like, God, I really want that arrow. And I kicked like just a few more grass clumps and boom, just walked right across it. This much of the end of the fletching was sticking out down in the mud, and I spotted it and I was like, man, this is awesome. So I pull the arrow out. That was a gift from God. I pull the arrow out and then my hair stands right up on the back of my neck. And I knew that the bear was watching me. So that bear was on the moose carcass, having pulled it back there into those weeds, and he was watching me. Now that's a dangerous situation. It's a male bear, he's got food. You know, that could be really dangerous. So I'm standing there with the arrow, the hair stands right up on the back of my neck. And that's where I start saying, look guys, I'm going to talk, so I don't surprise anything. I'm going to keep with an even keeled voice and talk. And I made my way back, I had to go right past the moose kill site to get back to the river to go home. And the hair was up on the back of my neck the whole time. And you know, even though I can't prove it, I feel absolutely certain that the bear was watching me during that whole thing from in the willows on that moose. And that was a neat experience. I'll carry that with me forever. That was pretty cool. All in all, it was a banger of an episode. So fun to live through those days. Those days were a gift, man. I loved it. And you start to see me in this, I'll point this out. In this episode, I'm picking back up. Because my low point was after I smoked the moose. I was so low and so skinny. You know, I hardly ate during that week. There just wasn't time. I'd have lost the meat. You know, I'd have lost some meat if I had not worked so diligently. So in this episode, you see me picking back up and getting to be myself again and having fun. And it's fun to share that with my boys as we sit on the couch watching that. I said at the beginning that the wilderness is God's second best creation, his second best invention. The best one, the top one, is you and me. And Adam is like third, I think.
No, I'm the last.
Everything else in nature, God loves it. He loves to watch it. But we're the only thing that can look back up to heaven and say to God, I love you back. Keep enjoying this show.